Okay, my head is old spicy, and today's topic is tithing to your source. So you've heard of tithing. It's what they tell you at church. You should tithe 10% of your gross income to the church, not after tax, gross. In other words, the top line, how much they pay you before all the deductions, 10% of that goes to the church. Now, tithe to the church, we don't really want to talk about that. We want to talk about tithing to your source. What does that mean? That is another teaching that I heard about if someone is your spiritual teacher that gives you spiritual knowledge, that you should support your teacher because your teacher has expenses, and if they're going to give you spiritual teachings, that's their full-time job, which is kind of like the church. They're giving you spiritual teachings and you give money to the church that pays for the minister's salary, the secretary's salary, the janitor's salary, the heating of the church, electricity, maintenance, and then, the church's life and work if they're helping out poor people, or etc., etc. And the question arises, that's me, I keep promoting what's known as the gift economy. In other words, we get rid of everything to do with capitalism and communism and socialism and taxes and fees and everything to do, and profits and revenues and expenses and accountants and insurance people and cashiers and backroom deals to get better deals, and stealing, and we get rid of minimum wage, and we get rid of everything to do with the way our society is run in a gift economy. That's what I want. And so what's that got to do with tithing? Well, in the middle of us promoting the idea of getting rid of everything to do with the money economy, your spiritual teacher still lives in a monetary economy, and as much as they want to give you everything they can for free, they still have to keep buying groceries for money, buying gas, buying bus rides, paying rent, paying mortgages, paying, if you've got children, school fees, endless numbers of fees. And so how is your spiritual teacher supposed to live if they don't bring in money while we still have a money economy, even though they want to give everything to you for free to prime the pump? If you think of the old-fashioned, maybe you've never heard of it, but before we had electric pumps, we had hand pumps. And with the hand pump, it was attached to a well, and in order to get suction, you had to put some effort into getting the water up from the well, priming the pump. And that's what your teacher wants to do, is give you a whole pile of stuff for free so that we get into a gift economy, because you're setting an example that, I can live this way. And the truth of the matter is, I can't live this way because there are so many bills in this world, so many taxes, so many this, that, and the next things. You can't live this way, or can you? Certain spiritual stories say, if you try it, it'll work. And you're supposed to follow these spiritual stories in your own life, and it's supposed to work. So that was a meditation. I close my eyes because my eyes are very dry, and you'll see them blinking quite a lot. I don't know why they're so dry, but they're very dry. And what else do we want to talk about? So, what is the answer to all of these questions? The answer is always meditate. Meditate, even if you don't get an answer. And quite often, most of the time, I don't get answers. We're meditating. But we are putting all of our questions off the table, and we're going to inner silence. And what good does that do? It takes all of these questions out of your mind, because these questions will drive you crazy. The questions themselves, they'll just keep rolling around your head, rolling around your head. And you can't sleep at night because, I got all these thoughts in my head. I couldn't sleep last night. So when you meditate, you calm yourself down. And all the questions that were driving you crazy, we just push them out of your mind. Now you might end up, even though your mind is quiet, have feelings in your body. It's like I've got like feelings in my tummy right now. And what do the feelings say? They don't really say anything. It kind of feels like pressure. Pressure. It's not like gas pains. It's just a different kind of feeling. And usually when I have these kind of feelings, what I want to do is I want to do breathing. Focus on breathing, and it might take a long time, but I want to move the energies out of my tummy. And once they get up to up here into my chest area, the feelings that the energies, I usually call them energies. I don't know exactly what they are, but those energies, they get moved up from here, they move up here. And once they get here, they get there and they're comfortable and they dissipate. And it can take a long time. Is it still considered meditation when you're doing this? It's called focused breathing. In other words, I'm not focusing on being quiet in my head. I'm focusing on breathing. I'm not over accentuating the breathing. I'm breathing naturally, but I make sure that I'm breathing, and that's where my focus is. What are all these energies? They're just energies that are in the wrong place in my body. Are you going to get these too? I think everyone does. I think some people get these kind of energies and they consider it part of anxiety. And I know a lot of people suffer from high anxiety. So I think a lot of this anxiety is because these energies that you might be picking up from the environment, you don't see these energies, you just feel them. And quite often they feel heavy, very heavy. You pick them up and some people say, you get them from other people, the environment. It doesn't matter where they come from. You got them now. And if they're uncomfortable, then these are the techniques in order to dissipate these energies. You got to keep breathing until they get up here. And once they're up here, for some reason in the heart area, they dissipate. And then you feel much better. Sometimes these energies in your tummy, they're like sickly feeling energies. And it might take you quite a long time, but it will eventually get up here. And eventually you're breathing, it seems to be a natural part of the body, that if these feelings are down here, once you breathe and breathe and breathe and breathe, they'll move up. And sometimes it moves quickly and sometimes it can take hours. Once it gets up to here, something in this heart area in your body. I don't understand the mechanism, but I know it works. It gets up here. It doesn't feel so heavy anymore. And, what does it mean? Well, it might mean that you don't really feel like doing all the things that you used to do. Maybe you don't feel like going to work because you just don't feel very good because of heavy energy. Maybe you don't feel like eating. Maybe my family was always like, you eat breakfast, you eat lunch at noon, you eat dinner at 5 o'clock. And maybe now it's like, well, I don't feel like getting out of bed until after lunch, after my old lunchtime. And maybe I'm not sleeping at night. And, other people want to eat at 5 o'clock, and maybe I do, maybe I don't. Maybe I don't feel like eating the food they're cooking. Why is this all happening? This is happening because you're becoming spiritually oriented. In the past, you were oriented mostly on what other people told you what to do, and you had to do it that way. Their schedule, the boss told you got to be in at 9 o'clock and you work until 5, or in at 8 o'clock and you work till 4, or whatever, or you work an evening shift or a night shift. The boss told you everything about it. And the boss gave you training like you were a chimpanzee in order to do the job. That's not spiritual living. Spiritual living is completely different. And what's the reason you become a spiritual being person? Mostly because you're tired of being someone else's slave. Whether they're giving you money to do it or not, you're still not following what your spirit wants to do. Your spirit wants you to have a house and a car. No. Your spirit wants to do what the spirit wants you to do. And it's up to you to figure that out by letting go of all the things that are keeping you too busy to connect to your spirit. You connect to your spirit by making time to meditate, quiet your mind, getting all of these questions that are running in your mind, getting them out of the way so you can be quiet and focus on what your body is telling you moment to moment. How are you going to survive living this spiritual way? You're probably going to say. The answer is your spirit will do it. And it doesn't mean your spirit is going to turn you into the guy next door. It doesn't mean your spirit's going to want you to have all the toys of the guy next door. And you're not going to be the guy next door. Because pretty much everybody who's doing, I'm going to go and work for money for this job, is pretty much bored with life. They spend so much time doing this job, and it might seem kind of interesting when you first get trained and started up, but pretty soon people really are like, I would rather be doing something fun than doing this. And you find yourself just driving to work or taking the subway to work and getting, just dreading your day. That's no way to live. And that's the way this whole world is set up. You being a slave to somebody else. Maybe you think, well, I got a small business and I'm my own boss, and you really know the truth of it is you bought yourself a job. It's very few people that own enough businesses that they don't have to do work. You could be a doctor, but a doctor basically, they're just same thing as the janitor. They spend all day doing doctor work. You might say some of them are inspired. Perhaps they do a good job, but in the end, I know what doctors really are thinking. It's mostly, I got to get lots of patients through my office today because I've got a lot of overhead. I got to pay a lot of rent for this expensive office building. I got to pay a receptionist. Then I got all these bills. I got to pay medical malpractice insurance. I got to pay tax on this. I got to pay an accountant because I can't figure out all this stuff. I'm too busy. I got all my home expenses. I got my family expenses. I got to put money away for my retirement. A lot of bills. And I got to get a lot of patients through. So most people are, I need a long vacation from this whole world of me doing all this stuff that I'm doing too much work and not enough living. And so I'm not the first person to talk about this. A lot of people have said this. Insurance companies tell you this story. You know, you put money into whole life insurance and, you know, then, or some other insurance program, and, you know, you can retire at 55. Anyways, why don't I look happy right now? The reason I don't look happy is I don't feel well. Why don't I feel well? Perhaps it's because I'm processing a lot of this energy, a really lot of energy, this unpleasant energy. Why is it coming to me? Because I can process it, because I'm taking the time out to meditate and breathe, and I'm focused on doing that pretty much all day long. Doesn't seem fair? Well, fair or not, that's what I'm doing, and it's not really fun. It's not the same thing as going to a resort. It sounds to me like, well, it's the way it is. These energies are pretty much hard to pin down where they're coming from. Pretty much they're floating around in our communities, and they're very unpleasant, and they're making people sick. What kind of sick? Pretty much everything that you think is caused by bad genetics, bad environment, bad food, too much work, too much stress, viruses, bacteria, electromagnetic radiation, bad water, bad food, GMO food, all these things that you think are those causes, I get because I'm attuned to my spirit. And my spirit is telling me, you call these things, all these kind of diseases for whatever reason, but we say, my spirit says, it's all hard to put into human terms other than bad energy. And we don't understand bad energy in our world at all because we don't even believe in these energies. You know these energies because you feel them and you say it's anxiety in my body, or it's I got a horrible migraine headache. I always use the idea, if you walk into a room where people have been fighting, the energy feels not good and you sense it. So you do sense these energies. You're very empathic. You feel energies. It's like if you've got a pet and you're not feeling too good, your pet knows and they'll come over and they'll want to cuddle with you to make you feel better. So animals feel these energies too. Are these energies coming about because we're not living spiritually? My spirit says that's bingo. We're not living spiritually, so that's why there's bad energies. Well, I'm living spiritually. How come? Because I'm processing a lot of really bad energy in my community, and I'm not getting paid for it. How much bad energy have I processed? Probably enough to counteract the negativity of about 200,000 people. No, you can't be doing that. That's what my spirit says. Take it or leave it. There's endless questions. Let's move along. I don't want to take any more of your time up tonight because it's nighttime for me. If you're going to let go, now that you're in the middle of, well, when I'm recording this, we're in the middle of COVID-19 quarantine. And if you're watching it sometime in the future, I don't know what life is going to be like then. But for people that are watching this thing in the middle of the quarantine, I'm going to tell you now is a good time to start living spiritually because you've got the time to do it. And most people are bored and watching Netflix and going cabin fever crazy. In other words, you don't know what to do, so I'm giving you something to do. Meditate, and when you feel like you've got heavy energies around you, go lie on the couch someplace. Maybe put on some music. Try to avoid loud, toxic people. Maybe go to your bedroom, close the door, lie in your bed, open the window, get some fresh air, and focus on your breathing for a long time. And then do it again the next day. And you got a long quarantine ahead of you, at least a month from now, according to latest I've heard. So if you can start doing this and you get a month into living spiritually, when the quarantine finally gets lifted, you'll be well connected to your spirit, and your spirit will guide you to what to do, and your spirit will guide you whether you need to go back to your work or not, and if so, maybe for how long, and what else is going to happen. The spirit might decide, we don't like what you're eating, and the spirit might direct you to start changing your diet. Maybe you're exercising not enough. Maybe you're not exercising enough. Maybe you're not exercising enough. Maybe you're not exercising enough. And for people that go to the gym all the time, maybe you're exercising too much. Maybe your spirit wants you to turn off the Netflix and order a book online to be delivered to your house. I don't know. These are some possibilities. But I do encourage you to use your time wisely. I'm Old Spicy, and that's your daily dose of spiritual living talk. Oh, okay, so what about other kinds of talks that I do? Well, I talk about all kinds of things on this channel, and they're not all about meditation, although I usually try and remind you to meditate, at least on some of my videos. Some of my videos are very odd. Some of them are comic, and some of them seem demonic. The demonic stuff comes upon me because I am processing horrible, horrible energies. And when I process horrible energies, sometimes it feels like I'm under demonic attack. And I talk about that. Now you're going to say, well, I don't want to live your way. Well, the whole point is, if you don't start living spiritually, then these demonic energies that I'm processing, I'm not going to be able to keep up with them all. Because if there's only a few of us that are doing this work, we're going to not be able to keep up. And then these energies are going to come around and make you sick. And you might blame it on the flu or COVID-19 or GMO food or 5G cell phone networks But the truth of it is, it's bad energy in your environment. So, the more of us that get to work processing these energies, the sooner we can make a cleaner energy environment for all of you and your children and your pets. If no one else decides to do this work, those of us that are doing the work are probably going to leave this planet. Are we going to die? It might appear that we have died, yes. And when we leave the planet, all of you won't have anyone processing your toxic energies. And then you're all going to die too. How bad is it going to get? It's going to get unbelievable horrible. We are at a tipping point right now on the planet. Either you get on board living spiritually, or the planet is going to remove you. Because the planet doesn't want any more toxic energies. The planet tells all of us time and again, you have to change. These are the energies that are coming through me. The planetary energies say, I am sick of your horrible, 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 horrible ways of living, you humans. The animals are sick of it. The animals don't want to be eaten as food. And you humans are so busy doing your stupid human pet tricks. In other words, everything that you've been doing up to now, you don't ever wake up. So that's how I'm putting it to you. Either you change and become spiritual, do your meditation, do your breathing, or the spiritual people are going to leave and all of you are going to be killed by the planet. How is she going to kill you? She's got so many ways of killing you. You don't have to worry about the humans coming to kill you. And there are a lot of humans that want to come and cue you up and tee you up and sink you like you're the 8-ball on a pool table. So you've got the human problem, these evil humans that some people are starting to talk about, and some people saying, no, it's not really going to happen. And then you got the planet. The spirits of the planet are basically having enough of you. And they've got plenty of ways of killing you off. And you might not even guess how they're going to do it. Overall, everyone is against you living the way you are. So you have no choice. I know, perhaps you think, well, you're an odd guy on YouTube. Yes, I am. But I meditate all the time, and I am attuned to the spirit of this planet. And once the planet has got rid of you, they're going to get rid of all these evil humans too. But the planet considers you an evil human for living the way that you do. So, once all the humans have been terminated, the planet is going to figure out what she wants to do next. And she's not going to invite you back. So where are you going to go when you drop your body? You still have a spirit, but your spirit isn't going to be welcome on this planet because you refused her request that you change. Probably your spirit is going to be sent out into space as, I don't know. No one's going to come fetch you and take you to another planet. You have flunked Earth. And she's going to say, tough titty, you ain't coming back to be part of my game. And I don't care if you go to church and if you pray to God, because praying to God ain't going to help you. The only thing that's going to help you is you sitting down and meditating every day and doing your breathing exercises to process the energies. Because some people's idea of a prayer to God is, bless me, God, today. And then you go off and you work at your corporate job. Bless me, God, with lots of money, lots of clients. And planet Earth knows that that's the way that you pray. And planet Earth says to you, I don't give a rat's ass if you pray to anything. I am your Mother Earth, and you are a pollutant on my planet. I understand a lot of people feel like there ain't no spirit of the planet here. All there is maybe the Christian God or the Jewish God. But there is a spirit of this planet, and she is really telling you to change now. That's all I have to tell you. The way I see it, you only have one choice. You start living spiritually the way I described it, or either the evil humans are going to poison you and kill you, or the planet herself is going to arrange the same thing. And those of us that have been working spiritual living, that, earlier I said, if you don't change, we're going to leave. Perhaps we're going to leave our bodies, but most likely our spirits are going to stick around with planet Earth. And perhaps she's going to arrange something else for us. But she knows which ones of us are working with her. And she knows all of you. She is very wise, and she doesn't want all of this horror to continue. But she can't change your capitalist nature, or your socialist nature, or your communist nature. She can't change all those human things for you. She can just tell you they are not working for the majority of the beings on the planet, not working for the majority of humans, and not the animals, and not the plants, and not the trees, and not the ocean. Everything not working. So, there you have it. Take it or leave it. But one thing you can be assured of, whether you follow my advice or not, sooner or later you're going to drop dead on this planet. You show me somebody who doesn't drop dead on this planet. Right? You can't avoid it. They say death and taxes, you cannot avoid it. So, given the fact that you are going to drop this body and have a death experience, guaranteed, or you think somehow the scientists are going to upload you into a computer, because that's what some of them talk about, uploading your consciousness into a computer. Well, even if you manage to do that, the spirit of this planet is going to find your computer and it's going to break it. I don't care if it's solar powered or whatever it is. It's not too difficult to figure out how to go. And maybe we're going to have, I don't know, could be a million different things. But there ain't no way that your uploaded consciousness into the computer is going to be free of the fact the computer is sitting here on planet Earth. And if you think you can be going up into the clouds, sorry, it's not sci-fi. Maybe you think you're going to wait for Elon Musk to colonize Mars and you're going to go there. Sorry. We've talked to Mars. Mars says, we don't want all your crap neither. If you want to be attuned to what the spirits say, you're going to have to meditate and push all your ego out so you have inner silence. And then